Wait, let me look that up on the internet real quick.
tagcastpodcast.com.
And now it's time for the Tagcast Podcast with Terry and Gatch. My name's Terry Geil.
I don't like your jerk-off name. I don't like your jerk-off face. I don't like your jerk-off behavior. And I don't like you, jerk-off.
See, because I paid a link for weed like in the 70s and I never got the real one back.
You just got tagged.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. May God have mercy on your soul.
And his name is Dustin Gatchell.
I heard in Hawaii, your spam email is your good email.
The Tagcast Podcast starts right now.
So do that thing that you did last time where we
What
started.
are you talking about? Hello, listeners, and welcome to the Tagcast Podcast.
That's what I'm talking
your
about.
Announcer, I think, or my announcer. I don't know what the fuck I am.
I think
really.
you were a producer at first.
I don't know.
MC.
We'll just switch. No, we'll just switch roles. I like that.
How about if you're co-host?
I don't know what the fuck I am. I'm Gatch.
Welcome to the Tagcast Podcast. I'm Terry,
Woo.
and he's Gatch.
How are you doing? I haven't seen you since it was Wednesday when I last saw you.
Yeah,
Wasn't it?
I can't even remember. But yeah, we were actually getting some phone calls during the thing. I think it was a Celtic Frost song came on. I was like, "Who's playing music during the podcast?" And it was actually Seth calling, and that's our guest for today, Mr. Seth Milstein. He's joining us in the studio.
Hello.
And in case you don't know who Seth is, he's a comedian, actor dude, friend of mine.
Comedian, actor, dude.
And he's a writer guy too.
Yes.
I do all three of those things.
And
At least once.
come on, you've got to do something else. Give us a fourth. He's a screen printer, I think.
I am a screen printer.
Nice.
And I didn't find that out until I listened to your little phone conversation with that
Nice.
other dude.
Oh, Jason Sims is calling you.
Yeah.
We also have sound guy Jeff
Jeff Simpson.
Simpson on sound and on the background vocals, right?
Yeah, back.
He has he has served in many applications as a sound guy for me in the last 20 some years. So
Wow.
it's nice to have him here doing this. But so before I forget, I posted a thing on Facebook saying that any local flautist should probably listen to the show on Wednesday, and then we didn't get to it because we had some technical difficulties. Okay, so we were talking during the break, or before we started, I mean, about Tenacious D, and they're coming to Bend, but the new Tenacious D is out, so we'd like to plug them, but this is a little thing I want to play. I don't really have my normal
I bet you
application.
would.
It's going to sound weird, but this is for Jason Rowe, and maybe for Zach.
Are you coming in here at night with a fucking flute and laying down flute tracks?
See, and he plays the flute in 30-Pound Test,
Yeah,
right?
he plays, yeah.
Right.
You goddamn motherfucking stupid piece of shit!
That's just classic Jack Black right there. I just had to
I'm
share
kind of
that.
thinking that might be a lyric on another album that he has, isn't it?
It was when they broke up, when Kyle left the band, remember?
Yeah.
You goddamn motherfucking stupid piece of
He's
shit.
reusing lyrics like we did that one time in Sons.
It's kind of a concept thing, you know, it brings the listeners back. They're like, hey, I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's out of the way. Now we can concentrate on what we're going to concentrate on, which is
Can
our
I
guest.
apologize to the listeners for being so sick right now?
Yeah, you sound a little nasally.
Yeah, I'm super nasally. More nasally than usual.
Did you go to the Nasal Academy?
To go to the nasal. That's how I got here.
So,
I read
yeah.
a snot boat.
Neil Young.
At least you were
What
kind
is
Tom Petty.
I almost said the phrase, what is the deal with?
Well, you're a comedian, isn't that?
No,
What
that's
is the deal?
But I'm a comedian in 2012.
What's the deal with
Yeah.
corn
Not
nuts?
92.
But I don't understand why snot has to be the thing that we use to get germs out of our body. I would be so much more comfortable if it was just crying. If I just cried for like 4 days, that would be so much awesomer
yeah,
to me.
your tear ducts released it.
Yeah.
And that's when you know that you're really sick and you've got a good infection, when it's like green color.
Yeah, like
yeah.
when you're, yeah.
And you can't help but accidentally suck some snot and mucus
Yeah.
into your mouth. Like,
I've kept it in a jar before, I'm not going to lie.
and I got into this one time. I never worked it into a full bit, but it's kind of gross, and I'm not a homophobe or anything, but I mentioned that mucus probably tastes a lot like semen. I tried to make the girls feel better because I say it's not bad. It's probably just like a little bit different texture, and of course it's probably warmer. But and I asked my wife, "Does it taste like semen?" And she goes, "No."
Is this the part where we all pretend that we haven't tried our own semen?
Oh, yes, we do. It's just like we talked the other day, how people can deny the fact that they masturbate or watch porn, guys. And you can deny the fact that you tasted your own semen.
Do you realize, though, there's not a moment that you're not smelling your own boogers and snot? You don't really know what the world smells like.
Yeah, no.
You're smelling it through a snot filter.
Yeah.
Oh, the grossest thing to me is like when I pinch my nose, like when I'm like rubbing my nose or whatever, and I pinch it, and you smell like it releases whatever the actual smell of all of the shit that your nose hairs are filtering out. Yeah. That is the worst smell ever in the universe.
When you finally get your nose
thank you, nose hairs.
I think what it is you get those black things in your nose, that you pick out, and I think what those are fart particles. I think when people fart, they collect in your mucus, and that's what those black things are.
The grossest thing that anybody has ever told me is I was talking about how I like to read on the toilet sometimes.
Yeah.
And which is
all guys.
Can I borrow that book?
All guys do that.
You can borrow the entire library. And this girl was like, "That's disgusting," and I was like, "Why is it disgusting? You're just reading it." And she's like, "But then your
particles
books get poo particles all over them." And then someone explained to me, "Hey, like when you smell something, that's not just like the smell of the thing; that's actual particles of it." And like ever since then, I hate every time I smell anything. Really. Anything.
Yeah.
Like even if I smell good food, I'm just like, "Ugh, there's fucking lasagna in my nose right now." That's
and see, and I didn't really used to care. Like when you go in the bathroom, say at work or something, and it just smells like I used to work at Country Coach, but they have a big bathroom with like 4 stalls, so like 4 people could be in there shitting at the same time.
Yeah.
You go in to take a piss, and you're like,
shouldn't you shower then after every time you go to the bathroom?
Right. So before I knew that there were actual particles that were going in your nose,
put on new clothes.
I would kind of be like, "That's not so bad. I've smelled shit before. It's not so bad." And then, actually, it was an SOD song that came out in like '98 called something about. I can't even remember the name of it. But
is that the
chorus is "This bathroom's fucking gross. The bathroom's fucking gross. The bathroom's fucking gross." Something like that, and then it's like, I don't want to smell your shit. But anyway, it talked about the particles in the lyrics, how the particles is actual poop that's in your nose, which is not good. It's okay when it's your own shit because it's just kind of recycling, I guess. But
not really. It's not really.
It's not okay.
No, shit's not
okay.
Your nose that you're breathing in.
You don't? I
No.
guess you don't.
How many? Excuse me. I was wondering this earlier. Like, what is the limit? When you got a gassy day, how many farts until you it's mandatory to wipe your ass?
Wow, we just got all the way into fart material.
I know. How did that happen?
We were talking about it, weren't we?
We
We went from boogers to shit.
Oh, shit in the nose. That's right.
Yeah, and so it was just something I was wondering today. I asked because I work with people that to fart.
What's the question?
So
how many
until it's like, all right, I better go and wipe.
Just depends on if it's still air. I don't think you'd have to wipe after 100 air.
But you're saying that it's always shit particles if it smells, though. So
I guess you have to.
If we're gonna go into this, I'm gonna get deep on you.
Okay.
I just feel like I will go through a phase throughout the day, especially if this is my magic combination. If I eat ice cream and drink beer in a night, the next day what will happen is I will start with some just general air farts, and then they will progressively get more and more smelly, and then there will just be a moment where it's like, nope, gotta go.
Yeah.
And then that's also the worst poo in
You're
the
nearing
world.
a shart. So when it nears a shart, that's when you have to wipe. And I had I had an unfortunate realization. It was a wonderful realization, but it was unfortunate at the same time. When I'll be honest, I'm honest. This is an honest radio show. I sharted a little bit.
Yeah.
But I thought it was just going to be air, and then I realized it really wasn't. And then I was like, oh. And then, so first thing you do is walk funny to the bathroom, and it's like, shit, literally, I'm going to have to check my underwear, right? So there was nothing on my underwear, and luckily the butt hair around my butthole, And
like
I,
your
this
like
conversation
the,
right now.
I decided that that's what that's
the
for.
hairs in your nose do with music.
Exactly, and I'd never realized that that's what that was for. My wife said that's just gross, but it is. She's right. We should probably get on to some actual subjects. We brought Seth here to talk about the way we shit.
Doo-doo.
He's like, went on this podcast. We're like, we were just talking shit for like 15 minutes. That could be a segment, talking shit with Terry and Gatch.
Hey, so you guys all like heavy metal music, right?
Oh yeah.
Can I ask you some questions that I've always been curious about the heavy metal?
Oh yeah, the heavy metal. I consider myself a heavy metal expert.
Yes,
I'm more
absolutely is.
hard rock.
What was the name of the guy that Metallica kicked out for dying?
His name was Cliff Burton.
Okay, I knew
Did
that.
they kick him out after?
Kerry King from Slayer related to Rodney King?
Yes.
We were talking on Wednesday's episode if Richard Simmons was related to Gene Simmons.
They both have similar hair. They have similar hair.
Yeah,
I would
similar background. They're both
I think
true.
that Richard is his half sister.
Yeah.
No, I think that, I think Gene Simmons is just shallow enough to shun Richard and just be like, nope, you live your life.
You got your deal of meal, I got my
What can you
entire
do?
industry of Gene Simmons.
I'm going to rock for a little bit,
But,
and then sell a lot of merchandise.
Leave it to
and
assholes like Lars and James to kick someone out for getting crushed by a bus.
I know.
I mean,
That is fucked up.
Is the band Exodus Jewish?
You know what? They're probably not.
that's funny that you mentioned that because we were just talking about Exodus on Wednesday's episode and how their former guitarist Rick Hunold, who was on the first 5 or 6 albums, and then he got all methed up on drugs.
And this is the guy working at the Dollar.
Yeah, he is now the manager at the Dollar Tree in Clearwater, California. But because of the fact that Jeff Hanneman got bit by a spider and almost lost his arm, Gary Holt from Exodus is filling in for Jeff Hanneman on the Slayer tour. At the same time, Exodus has obligations in Europe, so the manager of the Dollar Tree is going to be filling in with his old band Exodus and getting paid $35,000 to do 9 shows.
See, but
in Europe. That's a fucking vacation.
I'm trying to get the circle to go full. I want Jeff to go and work at the dollar store.
Jeff Hanneman?
Yeah.
Well, he might.
And then people
check
need
this
to go
out.
in there and give him dollars.
So check this out. You know that Rick Hunold is not going to make $35,000 in a year at the dollar store.
No, it's $1 a day, right?
No, it's
Price check on aisle 7. Okay, we should probably maybe get into some questions for. You got.
All right.
I'm gonna let him have some questions first because I asked him. You got any questions?
I got some questions for you,
You
Seth.
got some goofball questions.
All right.
All right.
Have you ever owned a horse?
I've never owned not a live one.
No, okay, so you've owned like have you owned a sawhorse?
Have I owned a sawhorse?
Yeah.
No, like I've like moved into houses that had sawhorses in the garage, and I've owned them until I moved
What about
out.
a seesaw?
No, I've never owned a seesaw.
What about a seahorse?
Yeah.
Nope, no seahorses.
All right. Well, here's a hypothetical question. I know you've never owned a horse, but do you think it's appropriate for someone to name their horse Seabiscuit? Is it like good luck, bad luck, if someone to name your horse Seabiscuit?
Well, I think in the situation of horses, because like with a kid, you kind of have to choose. Like you're kind of a dick if you go real crazy.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't. Who just won the Preakness or whatever? Like those names for horses are always like a gentleman caller or something like that.
Do you retire the name after it's been a winner?
Right, but
you do.
like you can really go anywhere with a horse name. But like
You
with
can't.
kids, you're kind of a
Giant
douchebag if you go
butthole.
too crazy. Like if you named your kid like All for the Win or something like that, you'd be a
That's true. I never thought about how, I used to think about it when I was a kid. I don't know if this is relevant or not, but when I was a kid, my parents used to take me shopping at Fred Meyer's in Albany. And they had these cards you could buy, and then you could watch horse races on a certain TV channel. And so you could bet on these cards at Fred Meyer on these horse races, because down here in the hick towns like Brownsville, you can't go horse race betting. You got to go to Portland Meadows or New York or wherever they have horse races. But, so that's weird. Do you guys ever remember that?
I don't
Jim?
remember.
No,
that.
yeah, I do.
So we would, and they had all those names like Morning Glory and like just all these goofy names. I never thought about naming your kids horses. That's an excellent.
Yeah,
thing.
it is.
Well, it's like what celebrities do now. Like celebrities are naming their
Blanket.
kids like weird. Yeah,
Blanket.
Apple, and,
Blue Eyes or whatever it is.
Pilot, and shit
Yeah.
like that. And it's like
Apple.
But yeah, I feel so. I get back to the question.